Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Be Again Books. Today, I'm sharing 5 simple but elegant junk journal elements that you can make using beautiful thrifted treasures. Things like vintage lace, old book pages, other forgotten bits that are just kind of waiting to be loved again. These are easy and I hope peaceful projects that you can try with items from your own stash or from your latest thrifting adventure. So settle in and let's create something lovely together. So I just was finally brave and cut into this lace tablecloth. We're going to use some fabric from the remnants that I found in the thrift stores. And so, yeah, let me get started. I've got, as I say, 5 projects, and we're going to start with this funny little book that was in the suitcase. It has all of these pages that are very thin. It's, like Bible paper. It's really thin. And so I've taken out a couple of those and I have cut just a piece. This is the other thing I have over here at the side of me. It's my neutral scrap box. And I have just a piece here. I'm going to punch the corner, my favorite corner. And then we'll use some stickers and these pages. I'm just going to show you how to make this. This is just simple. If you've been junk journaling very long, you have seen this pocket, this kind of a fold back pocket before. So I have 2 of the little folded pages, and I'm just going to glue together on one side so that there are 4 pages together. And I'm just going to take this first bit and glue down 2 sides to make a tuck. And we'll put that here. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of a margin to make just a kind of a frame. And I chose a color that would be a solid color. That would be a contrast to the book pages. So the next one I'm going to fold down and just glue with a dot right here. And then without folding that flat, I'm going to take the next one and do the same thing. Just going to put a little dot of glue right here. Fold the next one down. And then we'll fold this third one down in the same way. So I'm kind of using these numbers right here, kind of as a guide. And let me put some glue here to hold these down. And now we can just carefully just fold that up. But by putting just a dot of glue in each of these corners, it leaves some shadow. It's not folded all the way flat. In a journal, it possibly will be after some time when the pages are smashed together, but by not folding it crisply now, that leaves you know, a little bit of dimension and shading. And then I just want to put a sticker. I think we might put that one back here. Let's put one of these smaller ones here at the front. Just kind of tuck that behind. Great. Okay, so in a journal, this pocket would be here in the corner, and we would have room for a tuck here and then a second tuck here. So I think that's a sweet little pocket. Okay, the second one, I want to use some pieces of this pretty drawer liner paper that I found in the thrift store, and the wrapping paper, this vintage wrapping paper. It's pretty thin, and it says bridal shower on it. But, you know, I don't care about that. I'm just going to tell myself that this is a junk journal, and I want to use junk. Okay, so the first thing I have done, and of course, I tend to use my favorite elements over and over again in my journals, and you've seen me do this before. I just take some pretty printed paper, and then I fold it in a kind of a wraparound element. I just am really liking these lately, so I've made a couple of pockets on either side, so this can be just like a floating pocket on both sides of the page, and or I can journal here in the middle too. So this just fits around a page in the journal and then clips on, and I can decorate these sides additionally. You've seen me do that before. You can also take a whole long page, so that's a lot of room to journal, and you can fold it in half and then fold it back again and then wrap it around the page and clip it on. And again, I can put a pocket here, or I could do a collage on this side, whatever I feel like. But this is a really good, this wraparound element is really good for using pretty pieces of paper, like wrapping paper or wallpaper. So with the wrapping paper, I just have done these simple fancy folds. So I've just taken the piece of paper, folded both sides in to the middle, folded it down, and then made a little fold up. And this just slips over the top of a page in a journal. And in the same way, I just use a paper clip to clip that on to the top of the page. It's easy. Yep. I've folded this one kind of in the same way. It's just a piece like this. I folded it in half, folded it over to this edge on the left, and then folded these corners back. And then this can just be tucked in a pocket to make, you know, it's just a plain piece of paper, but when it's folded in a little bit of a fancy way, then it just makes it more interesting in a pocket. So this piece is kind of folded together. You've seen these wrapping paper packages in the thrift store. I'm sure you have. So I'm just going to take this one. I'm going to fold it this way so that it's folded into fourths. And then I'm just going to take the page, so this would fit over the corner of a page and be a large piece that is able to be decorated. But again, I'm just going to do the fancy fold like this. I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to fold this one back. So this is just going to be like a fan from the top. And then we'll fold this one back. And we'll leave that so that it fits over the corner of the paper. And I might need to trim it down a little bit later, depending on how I can fit it on the paper. For instance, in the journal, this would fit like this onto the page, but of course then this is going to stick out. So we can do something like this and fold it back again. And then use a clip so that clips on. You can even put that behind so that it's kind of, you know, loose and interactive, and then could even decorate this side. When this is on the page, of course, then it gets smashed inside the book and it won't flop. I think that's kind of cute too. Number 3 is this fabric element. And so I just have measured. I've done just a couple of pieces that will be a couple of journal papers. So I've cut those, and I have cut a piece of fabric that matches that in size. And what I'm going to do is glue these two to the fabric. So let me get my glue book out, and you can see that this has some writing on it, and that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to use just my glue stick and put a generous amount of glue on there so that it will stick well to the fabric. And then I'm just going to glue that down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And I'm going to leave just a tiny bit here at the top, and you'll see why in just 1 minute. but I just want to make sure that that gets glued down well. So this now becomes a flip, an over-the-page flip with room to journal here on the inside. And then this pretty fabric is on the page. Let's finish it up and I'll show you how it looks in the journal. I have just these little bits. This is a piece of the flowers that I showed you in the haul, those $3 flowers. This is a little flower from my stash. It's going to go there in the middle. And this is cut out from the lace that's in the tablecloth. So I'm just going to make a flower here kind of in the corner. I'm going to need my Fabri-Tac for this part. This is just a little scrap of sari silk, and I'm going to glue that on kind of as a shadow behind this leaf. All right, then I'll put glue on the rest of the flower. I'll put some of this little vegetable netting down. And finally, this little flower center here. I think that's pretty. Okay, so this element would work like this in the journal. And you could put it on either side. It could go on this side with the flower here, and you could put another little pocket or something on the back. You've seen me do this kind of thing, but this is with fabric, and I think it just looks particularly pretty. With the clip. And then, of course, you can take it off and journal, and the journaling is hidden. Number 4 is just using book pages, and so these were from the John Singer Sargent book, just little pictures of portraits that he's done. This is some vintage paper from the suitcase. I also have some clippings from the suitcase and one of the letters to Diane from her fiance Bill. And then this is one of the papers from the composition notebook. And so I'm just going to build some paper ephemera, just like a masterboard kind of a thing. So I'm going to start by gluing this letter down first. So then let's cut this up, and we'll be able to have at least 2 large, maybe 3 journal papers. Hang on 1 minute. Okay, I'm back with 1 large and 2 small journal papers. Now, if we do something additional, like add these portraits, then that kind of dresses them up. So let's do that. And let's put some distress on here. We'll just kind of scratch this guy up a little because he's dark, and when there's a contrast, that really makes the scratches kind of show up, and I like that. So this was just one of the illustrations in that book. Let's round the other corners. Just some textured paper. I don't know where it came from, but it's nice. Just a scrap. Who knows? Honestly. That's the fun thing about your stash. After several years, you get it built up, and then you just find these kind of fun things. Hidden in the stash. Yeah, I like that. Okay, these are 3 vintage journaling cards. That was number 4. Okay, number 5 is a lace window pocket. So I cut into those linen patches in the middle, kind of the lace, and then I have starched it. And linen takes starch really well. So I just have cut out a pocket shape, starched it, and now I can just glue on 3 sides and then have a pretty little fabric pocket in the journal. But these window lace pockets are just a frame, so you can use, these ready-made type frames. These are from Paper Studio in Hobby Lobby. But if you want, and if you have dies, a die cutting machine, then you can cut your own frame with a die, and then use the lace behind it again. So that's what I've done with this piece of scrapbook paper from my stash, and I've just cut the frame in the middle, and then I just want to put this this piece of lace. It looks like I'm not going to get that curly cue, but the way you glue it on is you just go around in the beginning. you go around the inside of the frame. You want to be careful that the glue doesn't ooze out, but just put enough to get that inside part on. If we maybe go from this side, we can maybe get a little of that curly Q. And then once that's glued down on that inside edge, then I can come back on the outside and glue some of the rest of this on. Just making sure that there's, you know, enough glue to have that stick down well. By doing that inside edge first, then that way you can put the design how you want it from the front. And make sure that nothing is showing, you know, from the outside. And then, of course, you can kind of stretch it before the glue dries. If you kind of stretch it, that'll give it some tension and make this stay kind of firm. And then you can decorate it from there. I'm not going to do much, but I am going to see if I can pull this backing off. Yep. And I'm just going to put this here. How did I have that? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it from here. I like it. Let's see how it looks in the journal. Of course, you want to use it on a page that has some contrast, so a darker color behind will be the best. And then you would just glue it down on either of these sides, and then you'd have a way you could slide ephemera behind it. I think that's really pretty. So there's several fun elements from the thrifted treasures that I have found. And I appreciate you spending this creative time with me. I hope you're feeling inspired to look at your thrifted finds just a little differently, as maybe the beginnings of something really beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with someone that you think might like it. And if you're joining in the Restash Junk Journal Challenge in May, I can't wait to see how you bring your vintage treasures to life. Until then, happy creating and take good care. I'll see you with the next project.